si ci marché bi Sadam saaku bu mag bi lañ nemmeeku ne am na ci marché bi mu ngi toll ci $2,300 saaku sukur ñu wax ne it gis nañ ko ci $2,000 fële ci marché bi saaku liñoŋ mu ngi toll ci $500 muy liñoŋ bi nga xam ne moom lañ béy ci biir réew mi bi ñu jëlee bitim réew it ba tey mu ngi toll ci $500 mu mel ni ñaari saaku yooyu la ba tey ci benn price la nekk 20 litre gallon bu diwlin mu ngi toll ci $2,200 mu mel ni dafa gën a yokku 10 litre bi mu ngi toll ci $1,200 5 litre bi mu ngi toll ci $650 ba ci $700 si ñaari diw yooyu la muy buy nelaw ak bu dul nelaw ci 5 litre gallon bu diwlin saako furiñ ñu jàpp ne mu ngi toll ci $2,150 saako pompiteer si $650 si la war a toll fépp foo dem ci marché bi le di nga mën a sukkandiku ci price la su ko defee mu yomb ak yow su dee yaa ngi dem duggi waaye ñu gis ne chicken carton yi ginaar nga xam ne fukki ginaar moo ne ci benn carton mu ngi toll ci $1,650 moo ne ci carton bi la nga xam ne fukki ginaar moo ci ne full chicken mu ngi toll ci $180 ci la benn full chicken war a toll chicken legs carton bi mu ngi toll ci $1,000 ñu ne nag kilo ginaar muy kilo chicken legs mu ngi toll ci $110 ñu bamtuwaat ko chicken legs carton bi mooy $1,000 full chicken benn bi $180 chicken legs kilo bi mu ngi toll ci $110 muy prices yi léegi nga xam ne nit ki war na cee mën a sukkandiku su ko defee mu yomb ak jën fépp foo dem ci biir réew mi le ndax lii mooy price yi nga xam ne moom lañ bàyyee ko jëlee ko ci marché Sarakunda ak marché bi ci London Corner fële ca Sarakunda fa la ñoo jaaree nag dem nuyu suñu sister Ami Fall bu Amis Classic Boutique and Utensils di ko gërëm bu baax a baax di ko jaajëfal Amis Classic Boutique ne fële ca Sarakunda ci Dipakunda gannaaw ay samari cinéma yoon yu ko jox gannaaw fa ngeen mën a jaar dem gis Ami Fall ci 7480424 muy Amis Classic Boutique and Utensils boutique yaa ngi yooyu ngeen gis jàkkaarloog moom sa screen bi mun ngeen ko call ci nombre yooyu la ko koy Ami Fall ñu gërëm ko bu baax a baax mu ne fële ca wetu Pape Niass Pape ñu ngi laa nuyu bu baax di nuyu ñëpp ñi nga xam ne ñooy enjoy the breakfast show ngeen di ko déggee fii wala ngeen ñu ko seetaane fii ci Star TV ñu ngi leen a gërëm bu baax ci beneen yoon Jacqueline balaa ñoo dem fa a break barki démb dama I lost a friend.
Wow.
koo xam ne he was so close to me.
Sorry for your loss.
Yeah, we did a lot together. ñu ngi ko jaale waa Singate Kunda di ko jaale waa Jeyte Kunda mooy Lamin Jeyte better known as Jeyte Kaba moom ngay gis noonu.
Okay.
He was well known nit ñi xam nañ ko bu baax a baax a baax even puus-puusam bi sax Arsenal one la fa defoon daf daan support Arsenal.
Okay.
And very respectful. He was a true Muslim.
Oh.
Definitely.
My condolences to the family.
lu ma dal si dëjëm bi géej na maa dal trop ma taxaw si jumaa bi ñuy pare pour jullee ko maay jooy bi parce que laa bi dafa sori woon ci man trop dañ daan waxtaan démb ci guddi dama toog mënuma ko muñ sax maay dégluwaat message yi ñu doon senante man maamam on WhatsApp dama dem bi ci kanam sax ma stop li ma doon def because mënatuma continuer di déglu message yi si ñu ngi ko jaale Singate Kunda yëpp di ko jaale waa Dipakunda di ko jaale waa Tarawale building material shop because fa la doon liggéeyee Lamin was a true Muslim. He was a good friend. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Amen. What we do is we go for a short break, and then when we come back we'll take a look at the newspapers. su ko defee ñu del si waat ak yéen ba tey ñu toll ci programme bi léegi muy The Breakfast Show ngeen ni ko amee fii ci Star TV ma ànd si Jacqueline Koli li ñoo def rek mooy ñu def njàngat ci kayiti xibaar yi. Let's take a look at the newspapers, Jacqueline, and then review the newspapers and then make some analysis on it later.
Yeah, hopefully today we have with us 3 newspapers. We have the Standard, we have the Point, and of course we have the Fourier newspaper.
Okay.
Let's take a look at the stories on their headlines. Now the main story on the Standard newspaper is 2 GB deputy governors leave. We see Doyle says politics of inducement is killing substantive democracy. CSOs defend Madi against Barrow. former Agam Petroleum MD's trial commences today. We've also seen APRC speaks on Barrow's new cabinet. And also on the Standard, we see Gambia at World Embassy tour in Washington, D.C. Yes, those are the stories on the Standard. And now on the Punch newspaper, we have Saudi approves 905 Gambian pilgrims for 2022. We've also seen Royal Caribbean Cruise recruits over 5,000 Gambians to ship hotels at Coco Ocean. Now, new public service minister says teachers welcome his appointment. We've also seen new energy minister Tos Nawek facilities. And also on the Fourier newspaper, we've seen DOI and APP and Youth for Change hold press conference on National Assembly elections. That was yesterday. Now, Gambia to host third continental conference on curriculum. Rural farmers call for timely provision of fertilizer farming inputs. We've also seen NCAC signs contract to rehabilitate Mango Park Memorial Obelisks. We've also seen CSO coalition outlines recommendations to government in white paper. And the question of the day on the Fourier is, could Gambians with dual citizenship become ministers? That is the question of the day on the Fourier newspaper. Now let's take a look at the stories that are trending on the newspapers. First of all, we take a look at the Standard as usual. Now, two CBG deputy governors leave. Now, according to the Standard, reliable sources have informed them that two senior management staff of the Central Bank of the Gambia, whose 5 years contract expired, have not been granted renewal. Now, they are first deputy governor Sekou Jabi and the second deputy governor Issa Drame. And also, meanwhile, the sources further confirmed that supposed report of the outcome of an internal investigation into the recent 155 million battered banknote scandal leaked online to be authentic. Now, our source, however, said the expiry of the contracts of the two officials has nothing to do with the scandal. Wow. This is what is happening at the Central Bank of the Gambia.
Wow.
These two senior deputy governor and the first deputy governor and the second deputy governor, their contract expired.
Sekou Jabi and Issa. Their contract expired and it has not been renewed. Now, many people will say it's perhaps because of the scandal. That is why. But here, the source of the Standard is saying it is not as a result of the scandal. That is why their contract has not been renewed. They awarded 5 years contract, and then the 5 years ended.
Has expired.
It expired, and then it was not renewed.
It was not renewed.
And then now they're telling us that it has nothing to do with the scandal.
But people will say likely it has something to do with the scandal.
Exactly. We're not saying it has something to do with the scandal.
Yeah, just
what we are saying is, there is this scandal going on, and then people are still pointing fingers at them. And then if this first deputy is the first deputy governor and the second deputy governor, their contracts were not renewed, then obviously, just like what you said, people will say, Madu Li Mota. Maybe it has something to do with the scandal. So you say you renewal send contract be, this might be the case. But now,
even before I read the story, when I saw the headline today, I was like, I think this has to do with the scandal.
No,
you see, I thought like that.
Once you said an eye on this story, obviously Lulumujo Samai. Wow. With all this thing, when the things that are going on in there, and then all of a sudden you send contract expire and then they don't want to renew it. Whether they've not been doing their job like what it was expected, or scandal. It must be one of these. But it's not because of the scandal, so we'll have to leave it at that. And then because any other information, but there must be a reason why. Maybe they didn't live up to expectation. They didn't do their work as expected, or or whatever. But anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Let's take a look at another story on the Standard. Now, APRC speaks on Barrow's new cabinet. Now, the spokesperson of the former ruling APRC has approved President Adama Barrow's new cabinet appointments. Over a dozen political parties and independent entities, including the former ruling APRC, backed Barrow and his NPP in the last election. Now, some of the members of the 2016 coalition. Reacting to the new cabinet for the first time, the APRC spokesperson, Musa Amunyasi, said his party has been represented with the appointment of Abdoulaye Diop, Minister of Petroleum. He said, I want to start by thanking President Barrow on the appointment of his new cabinet and pray for all those who are appointed for a successful tenure. That said, I want to say that the APRC has seen itself in the new cabinet with the appointment of Abdoulaye Diop, who has been very consistent in his contribution and support for the APRC. Nyasi told Star FM Wake Up Show to be aired today. Now, the former National Assembly for Fonyi Kansala, who lost his re-election bid to Jammeh's independent candidate, Almami Jiba, said the APRC National Executive recognizes the efforts of Minister Diop towards the party and wish him well in his new appointment. He said, so I am happy to tell the Gambian people that APRC have seen themselves in the new cabinet because Abdoulaye Diop has been with us 100%. It is true that some of the appointees were APRC before the change, but now after the change, they stayed neutral. But for Mr. Diop, he was continuously participating in the party's affairs, he said. Now on to the governor appointment. Responding to rumors that he is being considered the next governor of West Coast, Mr. Nyasi said he only heard the reports, but he will readily accept any appointment if he can deliver there. He said, I am hopeful for being appointed because I know I have the competence and the knowledge to serve in any position I am entrusted with. But whether it will not happen or whether it is or not, it is left to God, but there is no hope. But there is hope, he added, Commenting on his shock parliamentary defeat, Ahmed said he took the defeat in good faith and thanked all those who voted for him in 2017 and in the last elections. I can proudly say the 5 years I served in the National Assembly were not in vain. I have served my constituency and the Gambia to the best of my ability, he said. On the TRRC, Mr. Nyasi said the APRC's position has not changed on the TRRC. There cannot be reconciliation without the APRC being at the forefront, he added.
Wow.
Yes, this is him. I think this is the first time I'm hearing Amunyasi say something after the National Assembly elections.
Is it?
Since he was defeated in Fonyi Kansala by my lecturer, Mr. Almami Jiba. He's my lecturer at the Media Academy for Journalism and Communication.
So what do you want to tell me? Do the new meeting on so Muntona so Legila Dorawa?
Oh no.
Perhaps. Is that what you want to tell me?
I don't know.
Anyway, okay, but that's all right. They will not be disappointed. They are not even disappointed because they welcome the move by appointing Mr. Abdoulaye Diop.
Yeah. But I also talked to Dudija a day after the new cabinet was released, and I asked him if the APRC saw themselves in the new cabinet. He said they were expecting at least to get 2 or more ministerial seats, but what is more important is they helped the president to win the elections. That what all they see is work. He said it's not about politics. It's not going to be based on politics. But the people that President Barrow has given the duty of taking care of the ministries he appointed them to. He said they are technocrats. He thinks they are competent. He knows that they can do the job.
Exactly.
He said it's going to take time for others to deliver, but it will not take others time to deliver because they have some technical know-how on what they have been appointed to.
Okay.
One like Professor Pierre. That's what he said.
Per Gomez.
Yeah, Per Gomez.
Okay.
So, do you have anything to add before we move on?
No, it's all right. Let's go.
Yes. Okay, let's take a look at this story. Now, Doi says politics of inducement is killing substantive democracy. Now, it's a long story, but I have to read through. Now, one of the oldest political parties, Doi, yesterday demanded to end politics of inducement in the Gambia, arguing that it is the only way to bring about any form of substantive democracy in the country. Now, addressing a joint press briefing at its head office in Talinding, the party Secretary General Halifa Saleh hinted that they may not take part in the next election if the issue, which only seemed to favor the incumbent, is not resolved. He said it's illegal to give any butut to anybody to acquire their vote. It's illegal. It's in the Election Act. There must be commitment and there must be sanctions when these laws are violated. Our assessment is that we will not go to any election without coming to conclusion on that. Either it becomes politics of patronage or substantive politics, Saleh stated. Flanked by APP and Youth for Change leaders Dr. Ibrahim Jang and Alhaji Mamadi Kurang, Mr. Saleh said The issue of inducement must be taken to the people for them to understand what formal democracy is and what substantive democracy is. It should become a national campaign of explanation to the Gambian people and eventually taking a national stand that the laws of the country must be respected and to see that it is respected. It also involves having an interparty that is galvanized, empowered to be able to make decisions, as well as political parties and civil societies that are convinced and committed to the principles of working together to ensure that is the type of system that must prevail here and no other will prevail. We must all analyze the system that we have. Mr. Saleh described the issue of the inducement as a threat in a democracy that must be eliminated. We are capable of doing so if we all act together to save our country, he added. Now, the Youth for Change leader, Alhaji Mamadou Kurang, said, "We know what happened and transpired during the elections. We accept in good faith that we have lost the elections. However, that cannot stop us from highlighting to the people some of the practices that will not lead us to democracy." Most people asked me during the campaign, why are prices in the Gambia going up? I said, well, it seems like that's what we voted for. We all worked to make sure the dictatorship go away. A lot of sacrifices have happened, so we expected a dividend to come. Now the people who voted to change the system expect a dividend, but now some people are in power and they feel that to remain in power they have to go around in the night to give envelopes to people. Now the politics of inducement has multiplied in the Gambia. We don't think there is a future for politics of inducement. A government is supposed to increase economic growth by investing in things that will create jobs, but if you take money and give it to every Tom and Babakar, what is going to happen is that we are going to have too much money in circulation. That money will go back to the market to chase the goods again. So you will have plugged us into what is already called inflation. Kurang said that the country must engage in politics of policies. Now, when a president goes and does that type of politics, and now they form a cabinet, where do you square pegs in roll holes? That's a problem. Now, this is a cabinet that is intended to win the next election and not necessarily to bring inflation down. This press briefing was designated to update the public on the next election cycle, including findings of the party in both presidential and parliamentary elections.
Wow.
Now, this is huge.
Huge.
How I analyze this is they are accusing the current government of inducement.
Inducement.
That is what I captured in reading this.
It is clearly stated because that's what they said.
Yeah.
But what I want to add on to this is you see this problem of inducement. I don't know whether it will be anytime soon or whatever, but the fan had it especially the kind of politics we have in this country or even in Africa.
Yeah.
You know, inducement is definitely killing it.
It is.
I agree with Kurang. It has to be politics
of policies.
But are we seeing that?
No.
That's the question. Are we seeing politics of policies? To some people, it's not even important to tell them what your policy is. The important, they will do whatever it takes. You win, lad. You give them their vote, and then that's it. So anyhow, they will go about it and do it. And that's what we are saying. It has to stop because it is killing our democracy. And then if Doi should say this, and then many people will say yes to it, because I can remember even long time ago, if you talk about inducement, if you talk about some of these things, and you mention Doy's name, what people will tell you is, meaning many people believe that they involved in inducement. That's not part of their politics. That's not what they do when they go out, on their campaign trail to talk to people, to talk to the mass, to address them, to seek for their vote. Because whatsoever. But it's a good thing at least, because it is telling people, if it's telling people, look, it's not about the money I am giving you. This is about your future. You need to, what you have to do is to listen to what I have to tell you. If you are okay with this, then vote for me, because I am trying to define your future. I am trying to to structure everything, so that at least our kids coming will have a good future. They will have something to be proud of. But soon again, I am giving you this today, and then you putting me in, and I am not competent. Then what will happen tomorrow? That will be a disaster. So as far as inducement within our politics, politicians engaging themselves in inducement, giving people money just to vote them in, then obviously, soon democracy will die. and then the development that we're yearning for will not come anytime soon.
You see, inducement is not only on politics nowadays. Inducement is everywhere. You have to give give that person in charge some amount of money for you to get that position. Inducement is everywhere.
That's the Gambia we're living in.
Bribery, nepotism. There are a lot of things that we need to change. If not, we will not move forward. Our democracy cannot move in such a way.
Definitely.
There are a lot of things that we need to change.
I like that, nepotism.
Yes.
Because the thing is, you see a competent individual with, good qualifications. When you're to an institution, you applied for a job, the next minute nga gis na joxuñ la job bi, ñu jox ko someone else. Nga gestu nga xool ki ñu ko jox mu leer na you're more competent, you have more better qualifications than he or she do. Understand? Then duñ la ko jox job just because seen relative la or xam nañ ko xam or whatever nangam. Because this nepotism system, obviously, so like yaa ngi am loolu in place, and you have inducement as well. But some people are just big, yaa ngi am this bigotry stuff in you. Then naka la Gambia di demee?
I'm telling you.
These three things are just taking us, backward. So especially inducement. If you were to talk about politics, it's not right.
It's not.
I can remember, during the last elections, there was inducement, there was nangam. Whether even to Sen Bopa, if Sunakede Hamon there was inducement, maybe because they feel on it, they didn't have that evident but was not enough to go to courts or whatever, like UDP or whatever, because you don't accuse, it has, some of these things were going on, run accusing or whatever. But what we are saying is, it's not definitely helping us.
It's not.
We have to move as a nation in a right way, but not to engage in inducement by giving people something that they will give us their vote in return.
Yeah. So let's take a look at this story. It's in court, so we'll just read through and the economic crime trial involving Sehu Drame, former managing director of the Gambia Petroleum and Lamin Gassama operations manager, will commence today before preceding Judge Justice Hadi Roche at the High Court in Banjul. Now, the duo was arraigned last Wednesday, that is the 3rd of May 2022, on 8 counts charged, including corruption, malpractices, and economic crime. They are accused of filtering the sum of 20 million at the Gambia Petroleum facility in Lamin Mandinari. They pleaded not guilty to the charges, and each of the accused persons were granted bail on the sum of $10 million. And the matter was adjourned to Monday, 9th May 2022 for commencement of trial. The state was represented by counsel MD Mbalo, whilst the accused persons were represented by lawyers Badu M. Conte and A. Akibo. Yeah, that's it. So this is the stories of, let me take a look at sports stories at the back of the Standard. That story is in court, so we'll not discuss the merits.
No.
We don't want to, be filed for. Anyways, Papa Gassama is going to officiate Confederations Cup final. Now, despite the malicious campaign by Algeria to stain him, Gambian referee Bakari Gassama continues to enjoy the confidence and trust of the continent football governing body CAF and by extension FIFA. Now, on Friday, Papa was picked at the central referee for the all-important CAF Confederation Cup semi-finals between South Africa giant club Orlando Pirates and the Libyan Al Hin in Tripoli. The game will be played on the 15th March. Yeah, the source of this news is Ade Divine. I mean, after all, what the Algerians try to do to stain, Papa Gassama, he's still going up high. He still earns the trust of CAF and that of FIFA extended.
What's the name of that song? I'm not better with body digger. Baholi Yagi fi but Gala you go play so go you play Algerians.
I know, right?
Wow, because later the need dambe para you play track bono.
Yeah.
But because Regal Sabin we did the Africa Cup of Nations.
Yes.
That's the song that we're playing. Whatever. After all, Linko Defie, threatening life and stuff, he's still signing.
Yeah. And what is more, exciting about this is he was here some few weeks ago. Let's say last week he was here.
I think he paid a courtesy call
to the Gambia Football Federation.
I've seen that.
Expressed that, he expresses their continuous support towards him.
Exactly.
It seems the GFF have never left his back. When they do stuff like this, they should come out to the public to show that, okay, we have done this for Papa, and some people, will stop talking about the possibilities of the GFF not doing this, not doing that.
Exactly.
So, moving on, FIFA Referees Committee writes to Algerian Football Federation over their bogus protests. Now, the World Footballing Governing Body, FIFA, has written to the Algerian Football Federation over their protests about the officiating of a World Cup playoff against Cameroon. Now, the match was officiated by Gambian referee Papa Gassama and ended with the elimination of Algeria. However, the North Africans have waged a massive international campaign disrupting the integrity of the top African referee, including complaining to FIFA. Now, over the weekend, FIFA reportedly wrote back to the Algerian FA with the following message. They said, "We regret that, according to the opinion, the decision of the referees could have negatively influenced the course of the match. We have taken good note of the elements of your mail, and we can already guarantee you that all the incidents that occurred during the match were carefully examined by the two video referees in accordance with the laws of the game and the protocol of the video assistance to referee." Meanwhile, this information was relayed to the Algerian Football Federation, and some Algerians think their complaint to FIFA is over, but some others are still hanging on to a tiny dream and unrealistic hope that FIFA will call a rematch. I don't think FIFA will call a rematch, because we all know what transpired. Everyone watched that game. Papa is someone that will officiate a whole match even without requiring the assistance of a VAR, video assistant referee.
Yeah, in fact, I think he was the only referee during the AFCON that has not used, the VAR.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to sports also. The Gambia, it's a good news for the fans, as we have chosen Senegal to play our AFCON qualifiers.
Yeah.
Now, the Gambian football officials have confirmed on Saturday that 4 June as the date, for the home match against South Sudan in the 2023 AFCON qualifiers. As correctly reported by the Standard last week, the match will take place in Thiès over the weekend. A Gambian delegation visited Thiès to talk with the Senegalese Football Federation officials and the management of the Lajor Stadium on the logistics. With the Independence Stadium not in any shape to host top international matches, the Gambia may play all in 3 home matches in the series in Senegal. Yes.
Wow, cheers.
This is what is happening.
This thing is happening in less than a month?
Yeah.
Is it on the 4th?
On the 4th of March.
On the 4th of March.
It's going to fall on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Wow. If it falls on a Saturday, a lot of people can travel to Senegal, watch the match, and come back on a Sunday.
On a Sunday, because there will be no work.
It's good news for the fans.
Will you be going?
Of course. Full time.
Really? On a Saturday, obviously. Sunday there will be nothing like the breakfast show.
And there will be nothing like the breakfast show. The only thing I'll be missing is church. Yes, the only thing I'll be missing that Sunday is church.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, I'll be going as well.
Okay.
I'm sure.
See you there.
Sarah, last time we were talking about it, and Sarah said, so folly on a working day, then obviously you people are not going. But we are going. And in fact, do they talk about plans to take fans to chess in Senegal?
Those plans have. I don't think the GFF has announced any such plans.
Yeah.
But of course, the fans club will travel with them because they need it.
Yeah.
The team needs all the more.
No, I know the fans club. I know the fans club would go. That's a special package because obviously they will cater for those people.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is, do they will they make it easy for somebody like me and you? We are not part of the fans club, and then okay, GFF will have like 5, 6, 7 boss you have for ku join. You can
I think they should do that. They
Yeah.
should do that. I mean, it's gonna be,
Exactly,
people,
exactly.
It's gonna ease the burden of
That-
transportation on some people that don't know their way to chairs.
That's what I'm telling
Especially
you.
people like me.
Exactly.
I only stopped at Jigenshore.
Ziggenshaw.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Because Lord could have that would be a good thing.
Yeah,
And then
it will.
you have more fans and chairs. Even without that Hamnademum in Senegal, you have so many Gambians in Senegal, obviously, and Senegalese people obviously will come out to support the Scorpions as well.
Yeah.
But at least let us do this. It's better to be
Yeah,
at the
it's
safer side.
Yeah, to be on the safer side. Anyways, let's take a look at the point. Seems all newspapers have similar stories except for this one. Now, the National Hajj Commission of the Gambia has announced that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has approved 905 Gambian pilgrims for 2022. Now, due to the inception of the COVID-19 pandemic around the globe, Saudi Arabia for the past few years restricted international pilgrims from entering the kingdom in order to cope with the pandemic. Now, the Commission revealed in a press release that the quota allocated to the Gambia is 905 pilgrims. Are you going?
I am not going.
Why not?
I am not going.
Okay.
All
All right. Let's take a look at this story. Now, the new public service minister says teachers welcome his appointment. Now, the newly appointed Minister of Public Service, Administrator Reform, Policy Coordination and Delivery has said that when his name was announced by the government spokesperson on state TV for the new ministerial position, teachers and the entire leadership of the Gambia Teachers Union embraced his ministerial appointment with open arms. He said, "The first man to call me was my former boss, Mr. Omar J. Ndur, followed by teachers, my GTU, CCU staff, while other people were also sending messages on social media embracing my new appointment," Minister Juice said. Congratulations to you and for, receiving such messages. Now, let's take a look at this one. Prof. Gomez also, let's take a look at this before we, the Dabo story, before we move to Prof. Gomez. Now, the Usainu Dabo, leader and Secretary General of the main opposition of the United Democratic Party, has extended what is seen to be an olive branch to President Adama Barrow. Speaking after his Eid prayers, the opposition strongman suggested that the president should invite political opponents to have a chat. He, however, frowned at the idea of calling on his opponents through open media invitation. If the president wants to extend his hands to the opposition, he should use his protocol and invite the political opponents he wants to talk to. But who will call through the media and expect me to come and answer your call? Dabo asked. Well, it's good that he's extended an olive branch. This is what we need. Yeah, political leaders, come together, have a dialogue, discuss.
Especially
everyone has great minds.
Especially immediately after elections.
Yes, exactly.
And then for them to come together and then
come together, put your plans together,
yes.
Work. Because what you've been yearning for is you want to see this country develop. Development can only come when we all come together and see the country. The country's development should be our main focus. You understand? So I think the political leaders coming together, discussing ways forward for this country is going to be a good, interactive session amongst themselves.
Yeah, the problem. What Dabo is saying is, he has to use his protocols to invite them so that they can, have the chat, but not to, say through the media. Maybe get them to our platform and say, I am calling the oppositions to come. Let them come so that we can work together. To be. So what he is saying is, at least Nakor Jarale through his protocols, he invite Len after Guy knew, then they can have that chat.
That's the right way to do
Yeah,
stuff.
that's the right way. Somebody like Dabo or even someone else would not take it serious.
No.
So now get them to our platform and say, yeah, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to take the Gambia in the next 5 years. To achieve that, definitely I need people to come, so that we can have that discussion and then, try to see the way forward for the Gambia. So I am calling on the opposition to come and join me. Just like that, then people will not take it serious. They will say, no, come on, if he definitely wants us to come and join, he needs to write to us officially or through his protocols, so that they can call them to come and join. But at least, like you said, it is good. Nobody welcome seeing, somebody like Dabo to extend an olive, branch. it's a plus. This is definitely what we want, especially just after elections. With with so many differences. Understand?
Yeah.
People, some people are definitely mad for some reason, and then if you have our leaders to come together to settle their differences, then obviously that is something good for this country.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, we have similar stories on newspapers. We'll take one story on the Foria newspaper that is about the new farmers, foreign farmers. Let me take. I think it's on at the other side of the paper. Yes.
Farmers.
Yeah, about the farmers. Now, rural farmers call for timely provision of fertilizers and farming inputs. Now, this is very, encouraging, because before normally we see, before these fertilizers and farming inputs are given, it is already farming season. Farmers have already entered farming season. Now, what they're saying is they need these, farming inputs and fertilizers to be given to them on time, timely deliveries. You see, so sources of farmers from Upper River Region South have called on the authorities to ensure timely provision of fertilizers and farming inputs such as available seeds and farm implements as they prepare for the 2022 rainy season. Now, this is alluded to by farmers in an interview will enable them access the fertilizer on time and with ease to maximize and boost their agricultural productivity. Larger than so, a farmer told this reporter that fertilizer is a major input that farmers need to boost the productive capabilities of their crops. Timely provision will avert the scenario wherein we struggle from all angles in accessing the fertilizer. This sometimes takes time before we access the fertilizer, and in some cases, we fail in our quest to get fertilizer, he said. Yeah, this is the farmers calling on, the ministry and all those involved to be giving them what they need on time.
Yeah,
I mean, rainy season is already next month.
Next month,
we should be seeing
by June.
preparation.
In fact, don't be surprised if it happens at the end of this month. Yeah, then sources of farmers. Yeah, this my mind goes to Abdullah Diba.
Okay.
You know Abdullah Diba? He was the farmer's eye. He was the one reporting about farmers' issues, going to up country. He was working with the Foria newspaper. He died a while ago. Maybe
we featured that here.
Exactly.
Yeah. He was called the farmer's eye.
The farmer's eye.
He did very well in reporting about agriculture. Productivity.
My mind definitely goes to him, and may his soul, continue to rest in eternal peace. Abdullah Diba. Because Foria, this is not a new thing. Foria will always go out there to talk to farmers. Bring out their complaints, fight for them. And this is what we expect from them. They've been relying on this newspaper, on the Foria, or even, this is a good thing. And then, the minister needs to do something because it's timely, definitely. Because within a month or even 1 month, then Gambia dañoo am rainy season, and they need their fertilizers. they need their fertilizers. They need to have it, on time, because mënuloo xaar ba ëllëg mu taw nga door am sa fertilizer or whatsoever. At least let them have it, then you toog di xaar.
Definitely.
ñu xam lan la ñoo def. And that's a good thing. At least definitely, Minister Hammer, I've seen somewhere, I don't know whether that will come on what is trending on social media, where someone was trying to question the appointment of the Minister of Agriculture. Anyway, until we get to that.
By the way, that's all for on the newspaper review. Like I said, the newspapers today have similar stories. We'll deal with half of the stories on the Standard newspaper, so we will not be dealing on the other stories that are on the Foria front page and that of the Voice newspaper.
Yes.
That's it for the newspaper review.
And then before we go for a break, we have a guest in the studio. We'll be having him just right after the break, and he is. Let's just hide it, but this young man, it's how much anyway. For this by-election is coming, and the London Corner Ward, their former councillor, was the one who won the National Assembly elections for Sarakunda constituency under the ticket of PDOIS, and now they should contest for this by-election, and this individual is one of them. So we will have him right after the break. All right, welcome back after the break. If you just joining us, you're still watching us live and direct coming to you from Star TV, and this is the Breakfast Show. Like I said earlier on, we have a guest in the studio, and this is Modolamin Kujabi. Modolamin Kujabi for, London Corner Ward. This is going to be the councillor for the PDOIS, standing for the London Corner Ward. And Jacqueline, yes, that's our guest. That's Modolamin Kujabi.
You're welcome.
There's this gentleman right here, and Mubuga de Flure, London Corner, and then I'm not a very big fight to fight.
Yeah.
To win that ward, then obviously he must have to pull the bull by the horn. So, whether he's ready to do that or not, then we'll get to know more about it. So we welcome you.
Thank you so much, bro.
It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Is this your first time here?
Yes, this is my first time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's Madam Jacqueline.
Okay.
That's my co-host.
Okay. Jacqueline.
Yeah, Jacqueline Coley. And yes, we're not going to waste time. Let's go straight to business and then talk about this upcoming elections coming. And let's briefly tell us about you, because I think are you new in the political arena?
Yeah. Yeah, I am new. I am new in the political arena.
And then people need to get to know you more,
Yes.
Better at least. So tell us about yourself. Tell us, a little bit about your biography.
Okay, thank you so much once again. My name is Modolamin Kujabi. A qualified teacher. I
Really?
obtained both PTC and HTC. And currently I'm teaching at Serekunda, Annex Lower Basic School. So which means I'm a social worker. So I'm not that active in politics. This is my first time taking part in politics. Yeah.
Oh, really? For how long have you been teaching?
For 11 years. I qualified since 2011. So which means I've been active for 11 good years as a civil servant.
It seems like Zaglin is impressed with that.
I am impressed, but he said he has never been, involved in politics.
Yes.
You're not, let me not say you're not politically aware, but since it's going to be your first time, there's a lot of, it's a huge tax on you.
Sure,
so
sure.
What are your agendas? What have you put in place, for the worship of, is it
London Corner Ward.
Corner? Yes.
As of now, it's a by-election,
Okay.
which means it's only few months for councils to be dissolved, 6 months.
Okay.
Next year, there will be a general elections. So it's just a continuous process from where the former council stopped. So there is nothing like bringing new things to the council.
Okay.
The projects or policies that the former councillor put in place for the past 4 years, that is where we are going to continue, whosoever wins the by-election. So there is nothing new that any candidate whosoever win is going to bring new thing to the council.
But there must be some recommendations made. Maybe when you were selected to be the candidate for PDOIS, you must have come with some new ideas. Yeah, okay, this is something I think this is something that we need to bring in. When I come, happens to win, obviously I'll have to add this thing to that agenda.
Yeah.
What is that thing?
Yes, that's right. First of all, what I would like to add up is the youth empowerment, women empowerment, trying to make sure youths involved in politics. So these are a few things that I want to add up to the previous council agendas.
Meaning it was lacking.
Yeah, when you say women empowerment and youth empowerment, in what way or how do you think the youths and women can be empowered?
Yeah, London Corner, most of the youths are not involved in politics, you see. So when I come in office, I will make sure the youths of London Corner make sure they take part in politics, because it's very important. You are either an active politician or an inactive politician. So when I come in office, I will make sure all the youths of London Corner participate fully in politics, because it's very, very important.
Aside politics, what other thing do you think is important that the youths should engage in to empower themselves, apart from politics, being involved in politics?
Yes, when you talk about London Corner, most of the youths are involved in sports.
Okay.
They are most of them are all involved in sports. So I'll just add up more empowerment in sports, because I've been a team rep for one of the teams in London Corner, that is Ruhaji Football Club. I've been their team rep for almost 4 years. So I will just try to encourage and bring more sporting ideas to them. Yeah.
If you talk about Ruhaji, and we're talking about football, right?
Yeah.
And this is a male-dominated area. What if the women of London Corner?
Yes, and almost around 3 years ago, I initiated this project whereby I tried to create a football female team for Ruhaji and another football female team within London Corner to compete in one of the football fields that we have at London Corner, that is Philippanja. I think you know about that field.
Yeah.
So it was so lively. The female really enjoyed it, and it was a very good initiative, and it was very successful when I come up with this idea. So these are things that we are going to continue doing to make sure female also take part in sports. Okay,
all right. Let's take a look at this. If you talk of London Corner, you must have some. London Corner as a word must have some sub-words within London Corner. How many sub-words do they have, and what differentiates these sub-words within the word of London Corner?
London Corner, we have 3 sub-words.
Okay.
We have 3 sub-words. One is the Janjan sub-word. We have the Marsengelo sub-word. We also have the Farotana sub-word. So all these sub-words constitute the London Corner development Association. So 3 people are selected from each of these sub-wards to constitute the London Corner Development Association.
Okay. How closely are you working with these, representatives from the sub-wards, especially if you talk of the Farrakhan support? I know the Janjang support and Masangala support. Then if you talk of vulnerability, the people living around the Farrakhan support would be the most vulnerable people. So how what's the relationship you have with these people? Or do you have someone who is representing you, giving you information, or are you going there yourself to find out some of the constraints within those subwards?
When I see callers during the to negotiate the campaign itinerary for 10 days campaign, what I did was I make sure I put Farrakhan 3 times in my 10 days campaign, which is that Farrakhan is more vulnerable than all the other 2 subwards. I have people that are there, especially teachers, my colleagues. Most of them are living around that area. I have sisters that are there, so I'm working closely with them. But what I mostly do is I go there by myself for people to see me physically, so that I can interact with them and know their problems.
All right. Okay. Do you have a question, or let me just go ahead? All right. Let's talk about talking about love, because understand that yaa ngi wax ne da ngeen am ñetti subword mooy Janjang, because ku demut foofu sax xamut fa soo déggee Janjang subword nga dégg Masangala subword den nga dégg Farrakhan den obvious di nga understand ne Farrakhan mooy fala yëf yi nekk, and then ñu ngi gis ne foofu noonu ndax mi fala dee jaar ak yooyu noonu. lan ngeen recommend pour foofu noonu wala sax yow ok nañ ko jëlee ni balaa ñoo ñëw ci loolu. Before ngay taxawal PDOIS ndax parti boobu nga doon support?
Parti boobu laa doon support, suma parti boobu laa doon support, suma mairie parti boobu laa doon support, suñu kër ñu ñëpp parti boobu la ñu support.
dañ ñëw oola rek ne la ñëwal because yow teacher nga by profession. dañ ñëw oola la ñëw ndax yow yaa ko bëgg a defal sa bopp.
When they were discussing about the who is going to represent them for this by-election, I was not aware. I was at school, they called me to say that, well, Mola, boy yëpp youth yëpp London Corner yow lañ bëgg a tànn pour nga nekk the councillor for the by-election which is coming.
Mora loo miin youth si yëpp su nekkee youth si la yëpp la te maa ngi understand over 6 or 7 nit ñu ngi taxaw. So obviously kon du nekk youth si yëpp ñoo la.
Obviously it's the youth. It's the youth that encouraged me to make sure I take up this position. So yeah. So
was it a huge call?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a huge call. So when they call me, I have to sleep over it and think about it, because I'm an active civil servant. So it means if I have to say yes, I have to obtain a leave letter from the ministry, which means 1 year without obtaining salary. So it's a big sacrifice that I did. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now let's talk about previously it was Musa Cham.
Yeah.
Musa Cham was there, and then all of a sudden mu resign, and then mu dem taxaw pour National Assembly elections. He happens to win.
Yes.
Then moom mooy di NP. Lan nga foog ne moo ko win loo Musa Cham? ba pare yow yaa ngay ñëw fan nga foog ne fa la jaar fi nga bëgg a teg sa tànk yow loo xam ne achievement ni parti bi la ne man su ma ñëwee I'll have to do this because lii ak lii moo fa nekk and then lii moo bin loo Musa Cham.
Musa Cham,
because responsibility bu mag la pour yow.
Yeah.
You're young. yaa ngi just dugg si politics. am loo that experience. ba pare understand na ne there are people out there ñoo xam ne ni ñoom tam dañu am xam ne seen taxawaay dafa baax trop because the likes of Ousseynou, the likes of I think ñaari Ousseynou laa dégg la doon ko.
Ousseynou Camara, you have
Ousseynou Camara
you have Ajigay,
Ousseynou Island. Okay, Ajigay, a female.
Yeah, you have Sheikh Manka.
Yeah.
Then you also have 3 independents and 3 political parties.
Yeah. What are the other political parties?
You have Ousseynou Camara is vying for UDP. You have Ajigay, NPP, and Mutlamin Kujabi, that is myself, for PDOIS.
Okay.
Then the other 3 are all independents.
Who among these would you consider to be your tough, the toughest opponent?
I don't think any of them.
Are you telling me you will have an easy ride? Jacqueline, is that what he's trying to tell us? Do you have, do you have a question
it
for him?
depends, but coming back to what you said, like you have only 6 months to continue from where the other MP stopped. But 6 months, I think, is not a huge interval, but at least some new things could come up to that, because maybe the MP that was there was doing stuff that you guys figured he needed to double up, or he needed to add some new projects to make the council a better council. So what do you think you can add up from where he stopped, or is there anything that you think you have to remove from where he started to bring in new things so that he can help improve the council?
Thank you, Jacqueline. Like I said earlier, there is nothing new that someone can bring to this council, because the 2022 council budget have already been drawn and submitted and signed. So there is not anything new that any of the candidates, whosoever win, is going to bring to the council. Yes.
No, but at least you can initiate something and then seek for funds elsewhere, just to do that within the 6 months.
You can.
So I don't believe whosoever wins cannot bring anything new. I disagree with that.
Yeah, you are right.
You can initiate something and just to seek.
Yeah, you are right. You can initiate and lobby for funds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have the fund, you can bring up projects that is going to help for the development of London Corner. That's true. But from the council side, there is no money that is going to be given to you to go and start a project or do anything that is going to be for the development.
Because we're not talking about the council to give you money or whatsoever. You happens to be the candidate, and then nga win or whatever. We expect you to initiate something new, to seek for funds, and then try to put the flow. That's what we are saying.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then. Understand in 6 months, come because exactly the way 6 months la bariwut or whatever, but Sibir 6 months bobu no. Okay, let's talk about the lighting system, because almost all candidates within Dipakunda, Latakunda, is it Bundunga Kunda, and then some areas London like gis nañ this light, ñu don def lolu, and then you might want to bring in something else, or even so fekene lights yooyu noonu am na yoo xam ne dafa yaaxu woon xëy na joxuñ la funds, but xam nga di nga bëgg a delluwaat back pour defaraat lampa yooyu noonu, because at least loolu dafa baax trop, dafa tax place bi yëpp a ngi leeroon ak yooyu noonu. Te understand naa ne some of these lights are not working now. So obviously so toogee without even the funds doo mën a toog nga seetaan loolu just like that.
During suñ campaign bi, especially areas like the Fado Corner, which is more vulnerable, we happen to meet so many people that were complaining or telling us that their lights are no more working, or there are certain areas whereby I don't know whether it was an oversight, they were not happen to benefit from these lights. So all those things have been put in, written down. We put everything down. So inshallah, on the 14th, that is after the by-elections, we will go back to those areas and see how best we can put a solution to those areas.
What's your assessment, in that Forokono ward, especially just behind the mall, where you have this bridge and then Forobo or whatever? Have you gone there to?
Yeah, like I said, in my itinerary, I'm going there 3 times. So I went there twice, remaining 1 now. So what I've discussed with the people of the those people living around the Forokono, what they told me is that most of them are complaining about the float. According to council, it's already been signed and agreed that every year they are going to dredge it. They are going to dredge the Forokono so that there can be easy passage for water to run from, because it's not something that is easy. It's not something that one council can do alone, because if you notice, the water comes all the way from Abuko and it has to pass through London Corner, goes up to the Kakunda, continue to Kotu. So it's not something that is a one-man council can do. But the former councillor have already signed this project, and every year they are going to dredge the Forokono float.
Don't you think we need to graduate from what we were doing before, like what you're saying? We're not saying it's bad, but it's not solving the problem entirely. That is to say, every year they will have to bring in excavator to do that, gutter that goes to Manjai, Latakuna, Dipakuna, and stuff, and then water will pass through. This is what they have been doing, and we're still experiencing the same problem. Don't you think there's need to be, some new recommendations to see what else to do? Even if you are going to do that, but at least try something else. So you could have talk for like 2-3 years or even 5 years without having the same problem. Because if you bring in the excavator bi ñoo mu gas fofu nonu. Ndox bi daf de roma, but yet still daf de dugg ci kër jàmbur yi.
Yeah, comparing to the previous raining seasons and the last raining season, there is a big difference. Come last year, flood bi bari wutoon noonu. Because of last year dañ ko gas bu baax a baax. So da nga gis ne comme ni ma la ko waxee dafa nekk a continuous process. So nekkul one man living council rek la. Su nekkee ne London Corner ñu ngi dig that hole every year ñu ngi ko dredge. Te bu noonu seen side nekkuñ di ko def or the other areas nekkuñ di ko def. It's going to be a problem. Su nekkee ne Dipakunda tam nekkuñ di ko dredge tamit. It's going to be a problem. London Corner rek mënuñ koo def. London Corner they are doing their quota. Other councils should also play their part. Because ndox bi nekkoon ne London Corner rek la di jóge. Dafa jógee London Corner waa wàcca but am na yoo xam ne dañoo jógee from other areas. Comme all the way from Abuko, Latrikunda, Niamakunku, London Corner, Dipakunda mu wàcca. So it's going to be something loo xam ne ñu dañoo try to partnership from NDA, the National Road Authority, ñu seeta a solution boo xam ne nekkoon ne dafa nekk annually rek ñu ko doog suñ ko defee dañoo seet a very concrete solution boo xam ne suñ ko defee once dafa nekk foofu noonu forever du nekk ñoo xam ne dañ ko nekk di ko gas rek so loolu noonu ñu ngi siy work on very very.
Su ma la déggee you're confident of winning.
Yeah.
So that being the case, then ndax yaa ngi jokkoo with NDMA to see to ne what time ngeen a mun a am that excavator pour def loolu noonu parce que mënul leen a xaar ba win ba pare ngeen a try pour gas foofu noonu.
As of now, don't we talk, we make promises or they want something that is not true. I have not worked with I have not consulted them, but immediately after elections, if I win, inshallah, I will go to their doorstep and explain the constraints that we are facing, especially the vulnerable people.
One last question before you knew them, or one or two, and then you've been a teacher. Obviously, xam naa London Corner jàngal nga xale yu bari.
Of course.
ñoo xam ne ñu ngi within London Corner because for 12 years mënuloo nekk London Corner and then ngay jàngale te benn xale jàngewul Serekunda primary because that's close to them. What was the news? How do they react to the news, knowing fully well ne suñ ki doon jàngal suñ doom bi moom mooy taxaw pour elections?
It was a big surprise and shock to me. Buma post, Buma CIA, my fly to all media outlets. The reaction that I was having from family members, from ex-students, it's so joyful. It's so joyful. I feel like I don't even know how to express it. Xale yi London Corner ñu bari ñu fofu non ñoo xamne legi they have graduated ñu bari jaar nañ suma loxo because soo ko seetlee am na parents yoo xam ne amuñ awareness about education so dama dee dem seen kër yi jël seen xale yi seen details yi yóbbu ko suma school ma enroll leen foofu noonu.
yaa ngi doon def loolu.
Of course maa ko doon def foofu so many years.
lu xayma si ñaata students loo xam ne yow yaa leen dimbali enroll leen ñaata.
Comparing from Buma started ak léegi dina dem ba over 200 students loo xam ne damaa dugg si kër yi jël seen details si that is birth certificate yóbbu leen suma school ma wax suma master ne these children need to be in the school because am nañ 7 years and they have the right to education. So loolu maa ko doon def for the previous years. Def naa ko last September bu passé nii am na parents yoo xam ne even barki dema sax ñu mën a call ñu ma ne suma doom bii nii mu ngi woon Sénégal dafa ñëw Gambia currently dafa doon jàng dara dama bëgg pour nga dugal ko school léegi bi mu di details fu ma fi jógee dama dem suma school ma register gaay and I've been given free study classes for the students without charge ba pare maa noonu mentor guy most of them maa ngi naa mentor.
Thank you very much.
Coach tamit.
Thank you very much, Jacqueline. That should be it, right? All right. We thank you very much, Mr. Moulamin Kujabi. And we wish you very best, the very best, and we wish you well. I know it will not be an easy fight because 6 candidates or 7 candidates. We have NPP 6. You have NPP, you have UDP, you have other independent candidates as well. So, like I said, a very jongante la pull the bull by the horn and then inshallah all the best, bro. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. All right, yes, Jerry, thank you. All right, what we'll do is let's go for a short break and then come back to take a look at what is trending on social media. right, thank you very much and welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is a breakfast show and it's coming to you live and direct from Star TV. My name is Cher, and of course together with Jacqueline Coley. And yes, we're glad to be back. Jacqueline, how are you? And let's take a look at what is trending on social media.
Yeah, let's take a look at what's trending on social media. First, we go to Jamano Times. And on Jamano Times, we've seen police announced on Sunday evening that they have arrested 6 people on suspicion of murdering a 20-year-old Amature on the 27th of March. Now, the 28-year-old was violently robbed at Palmarima, which resulted into his death. Now, but police said Sunday evening, following the armed robbery and subsequent death of a 20-year-old Senegalese along the Palmarima beach on the 27th of March, rigorous investigations efforts by the Kotu police station, detectives uncovered evidence connecting a gang of 6 young men from Welingara and Sinchu Balea area. Now, this followed an early report of the incident at the Kanifing station by the victim's friend who escorted him to the Serekunda General Hospital. Now, the Kanifing police notified Kotu, who embarked on an intensive probe that led to the arrest of one Modu Lamin Dahaba of Sinchu Balea. Now, upon interrogation, Dahaba confessed to being part of the gang that attacked the deceased on the day in question. He cooperated with the police investigators and provided names of his gang mates. This is quite, encouraging. The police did an investigation and, justice is about to prevail, as this person has already, pleaded guilty of what he has been accused of. Let's take a look. Do you have comments?
No, it's just a very sad situation, because I don't know, the situation right now in this country is crazy. Munuma understand, why would 6 of you, come on, it's crazy. 6 actually Halibunda won like 20 years. So len ko dore either ngeen ko dore or whatever. Len ko mune da ngeen ko rey. And then after sirichu ngeen joge te xalé one thing they should know is so ko defé nga daw tam génn loci, because once ñu téye kenn ñëpp 6 yëpp dañoo feeñ, because ñeme ñu lu di jaay bandi te nekkuñ bandi, because soo téye kenn nga threaten ko rek dafa start to give names, and then obviously mooy dañ leen arrest rek. They need to be wise up, they need to think over this thing. You ko defee ñu bàyyi yenn nonsense, because they're too young pour ñuy dem mile to the first spend 5-10 years 20 years to yahas a life.
Definitely. Let's take a look at another story. The Alcalo of Brikama passed away some 3 days ago, and the president was there to give his condolences and stuff, which is very, very encouraging. I mean, President Bimige Rafet Fani, starting from the sickness of OJ Jallow, going to visit him, Exactly. This is what we need, when need is nga dem fa suñu amé bané nga dem fa this is what we expect, because always do they nek nga yónnee rek, because du yëfi yónnee rek, because gis nañ video bi mu ngi ñëw gaay ko topam nga dem ci kër gi. And then this Alcalo, the former Alcalo ba Dembo Santang Bojang, ki duku ndaw, and we are talking of Birkama gis nga am na ñoo xam ne da nga dégg ñu ne la fii ku fi falu Birkama la fal, o Birkama suñ bootoo sa gannaaw da nga am lu bari, and so ñii waroo caaxaane seen mbir, even du Birkama rek sax, but soo nekkee njiit, this is the example that we want you to be giving out, understand nga dem nit ñi di gis la muy naxaar muy baane or whatever, because dañoo understand ne kii xeebut ñu at least moom mooy buur, moom mooy président, mu ngi toog fële am loolu ak loolu, waaye ñun mi nga xam ne si ngunu garaar rek dëkk sax xew leen ne ñëw na, soo dafa tax nit ñi jox la cër, dafa tax nit ñi bugga la, duñ question yéen ay na yow am nga ité nit ñi amuloo ité nit ñi or whatsoever. It was a very good move, because bi mu ko defee dem seeti OJ Jallow ak xëy na ñoo xam ne sax duñ d'accord moom ci yéen yi, xëy na boobu dinañ taxaw ne waa dëgga OJ koo xam ne la kii réew mi dañ ko war a delloo njukkal bu baax a baax, parce que OJ depuis at the age of 30 something mu ngi liggéey ci nguur ba fu mu toll nii, kon kooku doon su feebaree président war naa mën a jógee këram dem seeti ko. Then ñu gis ko mu def ko ci Dembo Santang Bojang, the former Alcalo of Birkama, so this is a good thing. So I hope rek mu continue ba mu am ci lii na feel nit ñi dem di leen seeti. It's a good thing. Definitely. Let's take a look at another story on the Alcamba Times. Now, Salaji Forest under threat of annihilation as waste crisis exhibits in urban Gambia. Now, the Salaji Forest in West Coast region is on the front line of a heightening environmental assault as tons of waste materials find their way to the woodland, which is turning into a vast wasteland. Now, the Kanifing municipality is currently grappling one of the country's biggest waste management problems, but it will appear the battlegrounds for waste war have now shifted to the West Coast region, where authorities are dealing with pockets of problems relating to illegal dumping. Now, illegal dump sites have been sprouting in parts of West Coast region, including Brusubi, Welingara, and now Salaji. The lack of adequate waste collection and management services is driving the rate of indiscriminate dumping, with communities using empty plots and free spaces to dump increasing amounts of domestic waste as the urban population soars in the biggest metropolis around the capital. The Brikama Area Council has consistently warned of illegal dumping, but the lack of waste disposal vehicles and sites has endangered another line of waste management challenge in the region. I think the time has now come for a serious conversation with this waste problem at Salaji Forest. A concerned resident of Jaban community, Modika Mba, told this reporter. Now, I think what the Gambian people lack, what this country lacks, is proper waste management. People dump anyhow. This illegal dumping is so rampant. I mean, now it's normalized. Suñ koñ noonu faarato so seetaale su may taxale di dem church.
Okay.
That's this empty space of land. Boromam mu ngi tabax sax de.
Very good.
But ñu ne tabax suñ ñëwee suba. They buub mbalit bi. Come back the next morning.
Guys, to sign
they still dump it there.
People are not responsible. People, I'm feeling loolu mooy seen problem. There was a time maa ngi nekk si moto ma am des waxtaan suma diggante ak nit. muy explain problème bu mu am ak police bi. ne dafa jënd afra di koy cop mu pare jël kayit bi mu sànni ko police bi mu ne ko mu wàcce mu for ko so mu bañ nga am des ref seen diggante so and mu ngi doon bàkkoo loolu kii dafa ma mun a def lii nanga ma gis tu ma ne ko ne lim la wax dëgg la da nga waroon a wàcce nga for ko. Parce que waruloo woon a sànni doolu yaa ngi tilimal and people should know I don't know what are the authorities
and there is
and there is
but I think proper waste management policies should be put in place so that things like this will happen and anti-littering
there is a bill there is anti-littering bill. How but they need to start going round at least to tell people not to do that. People should not litter the street. You only explain Lee. If you're applying that highway from Jabang towards Latiria, Jambu to Jambanjeli. So jaar si kaw yoon boobu noonu dang ne gis leen ni soo jaar si kaw yoon bi yaa ngi am forest bi at the right hand side si kanam forest bi yooyu da ngaa gis ay plastique ay mbalit yaa ko gis nit ñaa ngi ko fa sànni. So obviously story bi du surprise kenn because in fact story bi wartoon a génne sax fekk they should have done something about this because not the people we gisuñ ko. They've been saying this and I am sure some of these authorities bor boobu lañ dëkkee because that's the new settlement, that's where everyone is heading to. So apply that route and obviously yaa ngi gis si forest bi si bunta bi di nga gis this waste nit ñaa ngi sànni mbalit or whatever so continue nii then people would am na ñoo xam ne fu mu nekk ñu ngi am seen mbalit seen kër fu ñu ko sànni rek la ñu ut so suñu rombee fii ñu gis lii da nga ne ok there is a good point dañoo dem seen kër guddi ñu dawal seen moto ñëw ba foofu ñu sotti ko fa even suñ taw amee taw sax nit ñi dañoo xaar ba taw bi ñëw ñu génn ñu jël seen mbalit bi ñu sànni ko fa so the gutters. So how responsible are we?
Supposed to run and then there's flood, and you start blaming government or stuff.
Mr. Kujabi mu ngi fi jógee léegi nii and I this is what I was telling him because the thing is it's not bad pour nga jël the excavator pour ngeen gas foofu noonu ndox bi am fu mu jaar but nit ñi ñooy sànniwaat mbalit foofu noonu mbalit dafaa ñëwaat ba foofu mu taxawaat ndox bi dugg ci kër nit ñi. This xoolal lii imagine.
ñu si suñu bopp ñoo lay yaxal suñu bopp.
Exactly.
You know that when I do this it's gonna block something else and then you still do it. Lii su demee ndox bi su demee ba block si gote amul fu mu jaar.
Suñ authorities
it will cause disaster. That's when flood comes.
They need to enforce this law.
Yeah.
There is anti-littering bill. Whosoever kuñ gis ngay litter lu war dafa war a dal sa kaw. This is it and you have a proper waste management ñu manage suñ waste properly because suñ ko defut xoolal forest bi.
It's too much.
Do we have so many forests in this country?
We don't.
No.
We don't. And
it's
been torn into
exactly. This is the only forest we have around. This is the only forest, the Salaji forest, and then nga am Brikama Nyambai
Nyambai.
Forest.
Yeah. Let's take a look at another story on also the Akamba Times. Now, Gunjur Development Committee explains about Sheikh Omar Futital Foundation. Imam Babali explains. Now, the Gunjur Development Committee says it is privy to a document reported from Sheikh Omar Futital Foundation and Imam Babali, which has been renamed one of the village's religious sites without the committee's consent. Now, the committee vowed that it will not tolerate this. It is tantamount to obliterating an important part of their history. It said the foundation wants to change the name of one of the religious sites in Gunjur called Kenekene Jamango to share.
Jamango.
Okay. Kenekene Jamano.
Jamango means mosque.
Oh, okay. To Sheikh Omar Futita Shrine or mosque. The motivation is to drive out the Arabic Islamic students who are using the place and turn it into a shrine for profit. The committee alleged and has said it will not allow that. It insists that the original name of the place be maintained as part of Gunjur's historical identity. Now, the religious site states that started to attract thousands of people from across the sub-region in the early 2000s before former President Yahya Jammeh stopped the activities of the foundation there and built a multi-million-dollar mosque at the site. Now, the seaside shrine is framed as one of the places visited by Sheikh Omar Futital when he visited the Gambia and is revered by Tijaniya followers. Meanwhile, the Imam Babali was contacted and told the Alkamba Times that the villagers reserve the right to decide how the place should be named. This is an ingenious matter in which I don't want to interfere. We aim to create more visibility for the place. We think Sheikh Omar Futital Mosque was a great approach to achieving this. Remember, people come from all over the sub-region and beyond, he said. Meanwhile, the Minister of Tourism, Kolta Ahmad Ba, sometime last year told TAD, that is the Alkamba Times, that the government was working on building a hotel near the site to promote religious tourism there. Now, the problem is here, the name of the site was about to be changed to Sheikh Omar Futital, but the community, the villagers of Gunjur, this doesn't go down with well.
Yeah,
they think
they want to maintain
because
that
of
Kenekene Jamango.
Yeah, because of the historic, the history the name has and what that site has.
Exactly.
So we would not want to dig into that. But I guess I thought it was important that we brought it up. So
yeah, definitely. But but at least let's talk about building a hotel near this site to promote religious tourism there. Man, I welcome that idea because man, I have been to that place and I am telling you, every day, hundreds of people will come to that place. Because dañ am this festival, dañ am this ziare bu fa day am, and then am na ñoo xam ne dañ day ñëw fu fa lañ dee fanaan. dañoo ñëw nekk guñu imagine if you soo jógee Sénégal nga ñëw foofu noonu bu nga fa am 7 days understand Gunjur nga dee dëkka o nga ñëw dëkka Serekunda every day ngay travel di dem Gunjur di dem ko ñëw so if you have that hotel within that area then obviously dafa generate income because nit ñi dañ fa stay am na ñu bari dinañ bëgg a am days going there xëy na amuñ fi ñu stay sax moo tax duñ mën a def loolu but knowing fully well that there is this hotel then obviously I am telling you it will generate income because nit ñi dañoo jógee all over the world to come there because place boobu noonu place yi ñaanee kaay la and then nit ñi nifit nañ ko baax sëriñ yu mag yu nekk Gambie and Sénégal yëpp suñ ñëwee fii ni dañ fa lañ daan dem nañ ba dégg ci ay mag ñuy waxtaan sax di wax ne ku ci mel ni Cheikh Ibrahim Niass those days da ngaa dem Sénégal soo ko ne Gambie laa jógee mu laaj la ndax dem nga Gunjur soo ne ko demuloo Gunjur mu ne la ko ndax demuloo Gambie parce que ku dem Gambie war ngaa mën a dem Gunjur soo dañ believe ne place la boo xam ne ni ñaanee kaay la parce que Cheikh Omar Fouti Tall fa la nekk te Cheikh Omar Fouti Tall kooku waliwu yàlla la ku yàlla mayoon la te suñ demee ba recommend ne fii dara mu ngi fi nit ñi dafa dem di fa ñaan seen aajo di faju then obviously am na lu fa nekk so suñ fa defee that hotel man welcome naa that idea because dafa generate income nit ñi dañ faa dem pour stay.
Yeah. Still on the Alkamba Times, let's take a look at this story is on sports. Now, Fortune FC Gaffer, hopeful of title defense. Now,
I know that's a story you would love to bring.
Well, I would love to bring it, but also with a little bit of, disappointment. I'm really disappointed at the team, considering that they were reigning champions. I was expecting they were going to defend this title to the latter.
But I told you the last time that...
Let's go into the story and see what
where do we have that story?
On the Alcamba Times.
Alcamba Times,
Now,
yeah.
despite being on a poor run of form, Jane Juve, the head coach of the Gambia Football Federation's reigning league champion, Jane Juve, is optimistic that the team is still in a position to retain the trophy they won last year. The people in the squad knew how difficult it is to defend a title, and we will continue to work hard to achieve this dream as a team before the end of the season. You can see we made some achievements before the commencement of the second round, but still things are not working the way we want at the moment, he said. Now, the CAF has said the entire team is sad about the current situation. He called on the supporters to be patient as they work towards achieving their dreams of retaining the title. He said, I am calling on all Fortune FC fans to continue supporting the team. We need them at this crucial point. Football is a game that is difficult to predict. Last year, by this time, all of them were happy because we were winning, but this time things are a bit different. We understand their frustration, but they should continue to rally behind the team, Jane Juve said. Now, Fortune, who comfortably won the Gambia Football Federation Division 1 league title last season, are currently struggling at the 10th position of the 16th team, standing with 21 points after 18 league matches.
Okay.
I mean, this is quite sad because, you know, Fortune, last season, they only conceded. They played 21 games without tasting defeat. Imagine 21 games without tasting defeat last season. And this season, it's a complete different scenario.
Yeah.
I have not watched any games, but I go to Facebook Live on the Gambia Football Federation page. I watch their matches and I'm like, what is going on, Jane? You know, the tactics that these people were playing with last season it's quite different. I mean, when I saw, you know, Lefo coming back, you know, Lamin Sedikan and all,
you were jubilating.
I was jubilating. I told you here that, okay, we are coming to be back on shape.
Yeah.
But it seems things are falling back. Last week we played against Steve Biko and we lost against them 2-0 defeat. It's quite sad. But James is telling the Fortune fans that they will surely defend this title come this season. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. With Real the Banjul, with Birkama United, with Falcons up there, I don't think I can see Fortune, you know, reaching top 5, you know, come the end of the second round. Because we are already into the second round.
Dem ngeen neexal seen sëriñ bi. Xëy na li ngeen ko diggoon joxu leen ko bi ngeen a win league bi. So moo tax mu seetaan leen. Do we have another story?
Yeah, we have another story on the Fatu network.
Yeah.
Now, on the Ket Fatu, the former National Assembly member for Nyamina East and spokesperson of the Gambia Democratic Congress, GDC, has called the appointment of the new Agriculture Minister, Dr. Demba Sabali, a miscalculation. This will be the last story so that Nefatu can come up and have a segment. Time is not on our side. Now, the appointment of Demba Sabali is a miscalculation by the president. If the president spends any minute longer than necessary to revisit the appointment of the new agricultural minister, it will further jeopardize this very sector. These reasons were designating the most outstanding sector of economic base to someone without any clue of the sector is certainly a miscalculation by everyone who participated and agreed to his appointment. This sector is in a coma for quite a very long time and needs a competent authority within the right medication and not Demba Sabali, the spokesperson argued. He's saying Sabali is not competent to be given the position of Ministry of Agriculture because he thinks this ministry has been in coma for a long time and it needs to be revived. That Sabali is not competent according to him.
Yeah, that he is not the right guy, and then agriculture is not his field of study. That's what he is saying. So I don't know, but again, the thing is, Sabali was in their party, which is the GDC, and then he defected to the NPP.
Yeah. So definitely you have something to say about it.
Exactly.
But anyways, that was all for Western on social media. I had some more news, but we don't have time. Time is not on our side, and therefore it has to come to deliver some entertainment stories.
In fact,
it's been a month.
A month, Ndeye Fatou ñëwut.
I know.
Let's go straight, and then let's go for a break, and then come back to half Ndeye Fatou. All right, stay tuned. right, welcome back. Ndeysaan gan ñëw na namoon nañ ko lool. Li gaay naan junju rek na jàmbaaray wàcc. Jàmbaara gi waat yow nama nañ la. yow dafa seral sa mic bi dafa mel ni sa mic bi taalu ko de. waaye taalal mic bi.
Assalamualaikum di nuyu ñëpp sunu wonderful viewers yi di leen di wax ne dellusiwaat na lu waraloon mënu leen maa gis parce que ñëpp xam nañ ne si weer bu sell bi la ñu jógee mu doonoon weeri koor am na yoo xam ne
nga giifal
non loolu sax moo ma war loolu laa war a def yaa ma gën a xam weeri koor àndut ak rumax mbaax ak yooyu noonu yaa ma gën a xam daal
yow si ay rumax mbaax ngay dox am na ko ñëw ne ma Ndeye Fatou weer xaw ma kat la kooram du jàppa waaye du bu Ndeye Fatou mu ne ma Ndeye Fatou dafa simi lingeer dese Ndeye Fatou
noonu la ma demee Jacqueline mu ma gisee ak daado sax laay wax mi ne ma déedéet kii du Ndeye Fatou de no make up no nothing yëpp laa sellal takk sama bopp bi ndax loolu la yàlla di
man su la gaay awtoon du ma la xamee yiw bi nga yiw ci weeru koor wi
waa gis nga waaye tamit di balu ñëpp comme nuñ ko dee waxee rek julli bi neex na macha allah waaye balaa ñoo continuer di nuyu borom télé bi si boppam mu doon alxaaji Baniko Sissoho di ko ñaanal bu baax a baax di ñaanal famille Mr Sara nam naa la lool bu baax a baax
xam nga ne moom joxuñu salibo sax
Alpha Karaga joxuñu
Baniko jox nañu salibo
jox nañu salibo
bu ko may request ba joxuñu salibo
dinaa ko wax
bu ko fi tudda
ndax lu baax rek lay def ndax nga doomi aadama dafa baax su nit di def lu baax nga di ko wax ndax buy tudd ay noonam dina la si boole soo ko waxutee so moom lu ñu gis la suñu bët yi nekku ne comme nit ñu ko nettali ak yooyu during Ramadan gis nga nit ñi ci seen bopp ñu ngi fees bunti liggéeykaayam
di jël ci dépasse
each and every day
nit ñaa ngay jël ci dépasse
waaw mu nga xam ne da leen di sutura sax nit ñi sax duñ wax ne lii laa fi ut si wala lee laa fi ut si dañooy toog rek secretary bi si boppam mu dugal ne diw mu ngi lay lëcce mu ne la exil mu receive ñëpp nag
te du benn nit de léegi-léegi nga fekk fa 10 nit da nga ñëw nga fekk mu fees tel
yow nit ñi dañ dee
every day ba Ramadan du jeex every day mu ngay joxe
bi daf dee fees masha Allah mu doon doomu réew mi sax laay wax di def li nga xam ne am na ay maasam yu bari ñu ngi fii te defuñu ko so xam nga mu doon loo xam ne di ko ñaanal daal yàlla gën ko ñoddi fanam mu bàyyi ko fi yàgg fu lool suñu kanam may ko wérgu yaram may ko kattan ba pare ibi wërsag bi ndax wërsagam daf ko bokk ak doomi aadama yépp te loolooy doomi aadama yàlla dafa ne mayuma damay dénkaane waa kon bu la mayee fexeel nga defaral say nit ñi ba ëllëg yàlla su dénkaane keneen du la fàtte wallaay la azim kenn du la fàtte masha Allah yow guddal fan ba guddal sàppile Alpha Karaga maa ngi lay nuyu bu baax a baax
CEO war ko suñ boosango
Mr Ba ñëpp
waaw yow li nga yàgg di indi dañ ko namoon lan nga ñoo njëkk a jox tey
ñu wax si mbiri korité bi bu baax a baax yaa ma gën a xam korité bi nu mu meloon Jacqueline sax daf ko enjoy mu ngi ko doon wax bu baax a baax di wax ne ñoom tamit si seen fête bi waaye man lekkuma nga lax lekkuma naan
daal yi fi nga lax
munuma understand
uyuma
dara meeyoo ma ko mer naa
Ndeye Fatou Mbaye Fatou yëfi nga lax bàyyil because man urugaay balaa suma tension bi di jóg yëfi nga lax suñ ko waxee xam nga Jacqueline
waaw
non bëgguma tey ñu fuloo maa moom ñu ngi jubóo depuis suba
kon may bàyyi leen bu ma leen jaxase
waaw defar rek
waa si biir
moo tax Sara léegi de mu xool ma rek ngóobi ma Jacqueline la ko waral
waa gis nga Jacqueline moo ko waral but anyway during Korité feast bi si boppam si biir weekend bi am na yu xewoon li nga xam ne Gambian si yëpp ñu ngi celebrate Korité bu baax a baax te neexoon na suñ young Gambians yi nga xam ne ñu ngi fii ñeneen ñi doon fashion designers ñeneen ñi doon ay artistes si seen boppa ay xam nga ma lu ma neex this time around xale yi ñoo amee julli bi ndax xam nga loolu
ci ban anam
waaw loolu daf may neex question boobu noonu daf ma neex bu baax a baax ndax xale yu ndaw ñoo génnee xaalis si seeni poos oo fi ay artistes wala ñoom si seen boppa ñu create their own shows yi nga xam ne xale yi nañ fa nekk ba pare léegi dafa am lu xew si Gambie li nga xam ne remarque naa ko woon xale yi dañ nekk di wër si dëkk bi di dem fu nekk salibo waaye da ngay gis each and area bu nekk dafa am benn DJ shout out to all the DJs yi nga xam ne ñu ngi biir Gambia here dañ leen dee defal benn little show boo xam ne even so artist ñoo wutee sax koñ bu nekk guy maybe si school or whatever guy gather together guy di enjoy that programme so nga gis dafa wàññi bu baax a baax xale yi ñu dundee réelee this time around dafa wàññi loolu di ñaan mu continuer bu baax a baax but guddi ambiance amoon na fi Bastune ñëwoon na fi guddi sunset tamit amoon na fi waaye balaa ñoo start with anything ñu take a look at a very short video bi nga xam ne Mass Mizzle si boppam kooku ñëpp xamee nañ ko guddi korité o guddi sunset guddi ambiance bu munti doon mu ko dee def at Pencum Hall every Tabaski or korité annually daf dee daf programme bu mel noonu te 3/4 Gambians yi nga xam ne sant dama kontaan si ñun.
Let's go straight ñu seetaan vidéo boobu dañ ñu del si waat
mën a sanse
ok
ñu demaat ñëwaat ok waa ñu del si waat kooku mu doonoon Mass Mizzle kooku dama kontaan si moom dañ ne peccum liir bu neexee rek dafa fekk ndey jaa jàpp ci mbag li mu doon fay sama yaay ja maa ngi koy nuyu bu baax a baax gis nga xale bii nii li si ma wax la ko ak Jacqueline ñi may seetaan xam ne li may wax Gambian si 3/4 sanse yi ngay gis fi koset moom bàyyee ko képp koo xam ne bëgg ngaa ñëw koset demal si kii waaye waaw waaye tamit ñu dellu si njaay Gambia
dinaa ko boole ab dëxa maa ngi am dëxa goo xam ne
ay garab ba non xam nga
dëxa goo xam ne xam nga dëxa nii la ko biir bi am ma cousin la ab dëxa la dinaa ko boole mu defal ko koset
waaw mu doon xale boo xam ne macha allah he's doing great xam nga di ko ñaanal bu baax a baax waaye tamit ñu seet njaay Gambia moom tam moo fi indi woon Bastune mu ñëw tamit first day of korité bi second day korité la bii di first day la woon boo tam di same thing ngeen seetaan at Pencum Hall mu doon ndaw boo xam ne xam nga mu ngay def wonders man am proud of you all Gambian si bu baax a baax dama kontaan ay ca jaariyatu ñu dem yo Jenaba doo bàyyi suñu télé bi please Jenaba Njaay Gambia yow Jenaba yow dinaa am li may def ak yow su ma paree that was Njaay Gambia kooku tam mu doon koo xam ne creation actor la model promoter Muslim Gambian ba pare gis ngeen lu mu nekk di def Jacqueline bàyyil ma ree bi kontaan si moom bu baax a baax show bi neexoon na bu baax a baax ak ay sanse dama kontaan si yéen Gambian si de leen ko defee noonu seen sanse yiw na baax na tegu na si temps macha allah mais ngeen xaalis bu bari ndax man li ma encaissé si Salibo non gaw ma ne kenn am na ko fu mu nekk nii.
kon jo cër ma asa gaawal ñu seeti kan waat
doo laal dara waaye te ST tamit am na programme bu mu defoon at Brikama boobu mënuma am footage si because mënuma dem si event si yëpp yooyu na ma gën a xam waaye boobu tamit it was a very beautiful moment. Okay, let's take a look at Abubakar Jawara, the CEO of Gach Global and Fisco Gambia company. Mom Tamisi Bobam, he is a star, but he posted it on his Facebook fan page. He said, Alhamdulillah, my brother Yusundur gave me the great honor to make me parrain of the 2022 edition Bercy concert. He gave a special appointment letter for all Africa for patronage of Bercy 2022. I ask your prayers and thanks for all the support. mu doon loo xam ne lu rëy la macha allah. man nag dama bëgg a ticketi Bercy laa bëgg.
avocat bu mu la rëcca TLC ndi filam bi
laay la xay la man tikkati Bercy laay wër si biir télé bii ma di ko wax ngeen di ma seetaan
bu la Aboubacar rëcca
Mr Aboubacar Jawara booy dem Bercy wallaay la dooma bàyyi gannaaw maa ko wax
yow kenn rek a bëgg a dem
man xaw ma sa
mel ni Jacqueline bëggut a dem
ma wala opportunité la ñun ñëpp a ngi toog
baax na mel ni man bëgguma dem na la leer nañ seeti leneen
waaw man am nga suma waa ñu take a look at One Pac si boppam dafa am beef with Big Faa but before ma go further dama bëgg a yéen si seen boppa ngeen seetaan that video itself ngeen déglu One Pac lu mu wax it was during Ramadan so loolu mënuma ko woon a indi but it's very serious so let's take a look suñ paree ñu del si waa discuss more about it
ma jóg war a dem jëndi ndox ma desee Big Faa ma romb ko few steps dama dégg rek bam te xam naa ne su ma ñëwul ma xalaat ma dem police su ma ñëwul police ma bugg a dellu démba One Pac su ma fayu dama koy rey justice su jëlut su privé lut dama rey su may fayu waaw loolu laa am pour wax now ñu ne ma ñëw lopitaan extrait nañ ma jox nañ ma medical report bills of my medicine so maa ngi dellu waat si station bi xam ndax they will justify the issue because ko xam ne mu ne 4 days 5 days lañ ne ma aman problème man fàtte naa loolu sax yaa ngi understand but why after this day you bring that issue causing me bodily harm you get me assaulting me you get me about next minute am na OC bu fa nekka naan loo gis fum sampo nag lu tax demuñ complain boobu yaa ngi understand te lu xew loolu ñu indi police.
ok kooku mu doonoon One Pac si boppam mu ne dafa am beef or whatever am na lu mu jotee ak Big Faa si boppam so after 4 days moom fàtte na ne amoon na comme joteloon xëj na Big Faa mu ngi jàppoon loolu si xolam while moom si lu mu wax ne moom yëgu fàtte na woon loolu I don't know what was it like lan lañ jotee exactly because soo gisee Big Faa ba mu war a am sañ-sañ ne su nu mu ko waxee jump si kawam ba dóor ko ba gaañ yooyu noonu loolu dafa nekk loo xam ne is something serious doo ma ne li nga xam ne is just a mere thing boo xam ne dafa war a tax Big Faa mu jump si kawam Big Faa tamit amal naa ko leneen ba loolu yëpp du xëcc tey loolu dama ko denc ba ëllëg because loolu foog ñu yaatal ko bu baax a baax nit ñi dañ war a bàyyi xel bu baax a baax si especially yéen ñi nga xam ne ay role model nit ñi dañ leen dee toppa bu baax a baax surtout xale yi sax so yi ngeen dee def nii daf dee reflect back to the society because xale yi ñu ngi leen a toppa te dañ leen dee copy bu baax a baax Big Faa ba pare dafa ne bu mu demee si police station bi di joxe scene bi si boppam police bi daf ko wax ne lu nekk fu mu sampoo la foofu mu ngi doon scratch am na ñu doon seetaan luñ mën a understand foofu noonu waaye dafa ne lu nekk am na fu mu jógee fu mu bàyyeekoo waaye Big Faa daf ko ne right now lii moo fi xew at the moment comme Big Faa si boppam moo ko def lii so nen address that issue rather than ñu nekk di indi li nga xam ne xam nga back in the days dafa happen on before because One Pac si boppam soo ko seetee soo ko bàyyee xel bu baax a baax life am before dafa amoon talk life laa ko mun a waxee because I know ñun ñëpp Bakaw lañ nekkoon te I was there so life bi was not xam nga moom nu mu doon dundee life am and now is different.
Yeah.
A huge different bu baax a baax mu ngi koo wax. Before One Pac nu mu daan doxalee dangaa romba si yoon bi sax am naka su dund doo ko ñemee sigi xool ñu bari sax duñ ñemee sigi xool ko because dafa ne su waree feeku su jël action justice su ñëwut moom dina rey One Pac te sorry moom dina rey Big Faa te loolu dafa nekk loo xam ne.
It's serious.
Very serious.
You know that statement.
Mu ne moom suy feeku daf ko rey te loolu du nekk lu ndaw.
That statement can get him into trouble.
I know.
That statement can get him into trouble.
Lii dafa serious.
Very serious.
Be careful with what we say on the media.
Yeah, definitely.
That statement could get him
because
into
moo tax
trouble.
bi ma déggee si vidéo bi mu wax ba wax lu mel noonu ma ne waaw kii xamul li moo wax because aduna
It's
dafa
like he's threatening someone else's life.
exactly.
So what if something I'm not praying for something bad to happen to Big Faa. What if something happens to Big
te fekk
Faa?
yow yëguloo tiitloo sax dañoo ne yow la.
Exactly.
No, fingers will be pointing at him. I
Definitely.
mean, this is not what we need in the music industry.
Yeah.
They need to come together, work, create good music that people can enjoy
More
and learn
Gelsey
from.
guy, yeah.
That's what unity.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We don't need this.
Okay.
We don't need this.
All right, let's take a look at another.
Everything will be brought to justice. Ñu def ate mbir bi te bàyyi yëpp mu seeda because dafa nekk loo xam ne man daal daf ma jaaxal ay rey nit moom fu mu nekk nii jamono bi macha allah yal nañu si yàlla musal te yal nañu si dégg doy okay another one ala maa ngi laa nuyu bu baax a baax suma star bi ak Aliou